Earth, fire, air, water. Only the Avatar can master all four elements and bring balance to the world.
Hello and good morning. My name is Cody, also known as Just Two Eyes, and I want to talk more about the tabletop game that I'm making. Last time you heard me talk about my inspiration, the idea behind it of why I did it. Now this is the story itself of what I've made. Now I've watched all of Avatar: The Last Airbender and The Legend of Korra and the movie more than once. And I read a lot of the lore and background and history and details of the world. There's still a lot more to know, but I know a fair amount already. Now, a couple years ago, back when I was really into The Last Airbender, I wondered what happened when Aang was frozen? What was going on during that time? That 100 years, how did the world kind of get along without him? And a story like that always intrigued me, a world without the Avatar. And then after watching The Legend of Korra, I kind of thought, what of a futuristic world without the Avatar? Not ahead of us, kind of around the World War I era. A world like that in the Avatar world without the Avatar. You get me? Because the Avatar holds the balance between everything and everyone, right? The balance between benders and non-benders, between the spiritual and the mortal world, between animals and humans. But you know, the balance. He's the bridge. He's the person there. Now, many years after the peace that Avatar, Aang, and Korra brought on, and a few avatars after them, the world has come into a lull, kind of come into just this long stand of peacefulness. And our bad guy Jade, he doesn't like that. He's like, no, it's boring. The world is just, everybody's getting along. There's still corruption, there's still crime, things still happen, but it's not end of the world scale like before. The Earth Kingdom, since it's now broken down into basically this democratic system, is now technologically more advanced than anything else on the planet. The Air Nomads have finally taken to the sky by creating these giant floating mountains held aloft by giant turbine propellers. The Fire Nation has completely had a landscape change because of all the volcanoes going off at once. And the Water Tribes, thanks to the volcanoes, a lot of new islands have formed around the planet. And instead of just the two spots for the Water Tribe, now they're all over the place. And while this new world is trying to find its way and becoming its own new thing, Jade decides, I'm going to do something crazy. I'm going to do something ridiculous. Now, the Avatar at the time in my story is already in the last stages of his life. He's already about to get reincarnated, die and get reincarnated. And because of the peace that has been going on for the past couple of years, every new Avatar, you know, basically goes on a world tour, a goodbye tour, goes to all the places that they've been to say goodbye to everyone, give people closure, and then go home to die. And also in my story, in my world, benders are more looked down upon than anything else. They're not the peaceful, loving, noble people that they are in Nickelodeon. They're just like regular people. They've killed people, they've stolen, they abused their powers. They manipulated people because they're benders. And because of this, non-benders look at these people like, you think you're better than me. As a matter of fact, sometimes you are better than me. You take my job, you take my home, you know, they advance more than they are, and they feel, you know, this isn't right. So Jade decided to take this fear and take this anger and use it as a weapon to basically bring down the benders. And now benders are seen as their own separate race, as their own separate entity. They're sanctioned off from areas where people could work and eat. And you know how they have the non-smoking areas and areas where certain people can't be? It's like that for benders. And over time, now benders are looked at like mutants from the X-Men universe, that they're shunned, that they're pushed out, that they're looked down upon, that they get ridiculed in the streets, that even some of them need to hide their capabilities just to lead a normal life. Jade started a small group called Titan. The name was supposed to represent strength and to be above all of the mess that the benders have done. And as this group evolved into an organization and grew over time, he put certain people in certain political positions, certain government officials now, within the group of Titan. Because his plan was, after this avatar passes away, we need to get rid of the new avatar. That's basically what we have to do. So after some time passes, after the world is basically separated now, the avatar dies. He passes away. And when that happens, Jade decides, now it's my time to strike. So then he and his non-bender organization gathers and rallies people together to attack benders. And that's the start of the first Great War. And with all of the pressure and chaos going on, he knew that people would have to get the newborn avatar out there into the world, out there to learn her new capabilities. Because it's just this little girl. After a few years, she's 7 years old, trying to get out there in the world to learn her other bending capabilities to try to bring balance back to the world. But she gets caught. And to make a long story even shorter, he basically catches her, put her in a cryogenic chamber, and then shoots off into space. Yeah, that happens. And now this completely rips the world apart. Like the spiritual world is going crazy. All of the spiritual beings are just in chaos. All of the animals are a bit more feral now. The line between benders and non-benders, that disconnect is even stronger now. Now they don't even really see each other as people. They see each other as these separate beings. Not literally, it's not, but you know what I mean, figuratively. They very much different now. So now what was the world to do without the avatar? What was the world to do now that this man is growing in power to basically create an empire over the world, to control, to be a non-bending world? Spiritual world decided we need the avatar, but we can't create a new one because the avatar is still gone. So what can we do? We had to choose, and they chose 4 of the strongest benders, one in each element, to come together. Not Captain Planet style where they all form in one person. No, they're just together. They each have the same strength and heightened ability of the avatar in their field of expertise. And these 4 were tasked with finding a safe place for benders to live and non-benders who, still feel that the world needs them to have a safe place, but also to be able to defend themselves and also to bring balance back to the world. And at this point in the story, this is where you come in, where the player comes in, where instead of you being like in a lot of stories where you're the chosen one, where you're the one to, bring upon, you're kind of the support character in a way. Like these 4 are the main characters of my story. They just so happen to have you and hopefully other players follow behind them. But that'll be that. So if you like what I'm doing, you want to see what else I'm doing, like, share, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you think, because I'm always interested to know. So, yeah.